Good friend Patrick O'Dowd, welcoming you into another edition of Bandwagon Nerds. Bandwagon Nerds is, of course, brought to you as a part of the Chairshot Radio Network here on thechairshot.com, where we remind you to always use your head. Make sure you head over to prowrestlingtees.com/the chairshot for all of your chair shot swag needs. We are here live on April 5th, 2026, gearing up in 8 days to the big launch, relaunch, rebirth, the emergence like a phoenix from the ashes, the new and improved Chairshot Radio Network, thechairshot.com. You're going to see some great stuff, folks. But before we get there, we're going to continue to deliver our quality content. And I am joined this week by a full bandwagon back from vacation by popular demand. One Raymond S. Cashington Esquire, the master of the websites. All of the websites. Welcome
I've
back,
never,
Ray.
I've never gone first before. I feel so
Well, if you
courted.
ain't
I feel
first,
so
you're
important.
last. So
Ricky
enjoy
Bobby.
it while it
What's up,
lasts.
good people?
We also have with us the executive vice president of Wednesday programming, talent relations. I ask him for permission to put stuff up. I don't ask the actual chair shot guy. I'm like, Tony, can we change the schedule? Because Tony's the one who
Well,
knows. Tony knows.
I mean, if it has to do with the podcast, yeah, you asked the right guy.
I mean,
You asked
I'm
the
gonna ask
very,
you.
you asked the very, very right guy.
Well, here's the thing. Greg doesn't tell me anything. Why ask Greg? I don't even
Greg
know if
doesn't
he
know this. Greg doesn't even know the Zero Radio Network schedule.
he does not at all. And here's what happens, guys. I'm just gonna tell you, like we did a DeMarco show this past week. It was very fun. He made he talked about the announcement and everything. Honest to goodness, you could have said we're gonna fly this shit to the moon, and he probably would have been like, sure, sounds good, guys. Great, I like it. I'm right behind it. And that's not to say that Greg doesn't care. Greg cares. He cares very much. He is very excited about all the changes and the advancements we're making. A lot of embracing of some new technologies, getting some articles back on track, getting just a lot of like I said, just a renew as we sit here on Easter Sunday. As he has risen, so shall the chair shot rise.
Wow.
And with that, let's turn it over to our Jewish compatriot, our good friend, the lawyer himself, enjoying Passover so
Happy
much
Passover,
he didn't
Dave.
even know it was Passover.
I
Literally
know.
was like, I don't. Asked him on the Four Quarters podcast, hey man, when did Passover start? I don't know, man.
Mazel
Like
tov.
Do you know
tov.
the? You know
Mazel
the? You know
tov
the,
to everybody.
do you know the Road Warriors' favorite Jewish holiday? No.
What? Go ahead.
What a Rosh Hashanah.
It's
And
better
that
than the
is why
Braun
we
Strowman
don't-
stuff,
that-
but
that's yeah, wow. But Dave, how you doing, bud?
I
You're welcome, Ray.
This
You're welcome.
because this show has already gone places. We like I am.
I should have listened to what y'all told me. I could have got off today.
I
should've
am-
listened.
I told you could have taken the day off. We've now
Yeah.
had a weird.
vacation ended after
Road Warriors.
one week. No, I'm thrilled to be here, and I want to welcome everybody. This is the first time. I think this is an important announcement. This is the first time we've done Bandwagon Nerds live on the Chair Shot Media X space, not space, excuse me, stream, and on the Chair Shot Media's official YouTube channel. Shifting away from the attitude of aggression, I have been honored and pleased to host you guys for this whole time, but we all knew it was only temporary, and I'm thrilled to cede control of all this. Sort of. I'll still be pulling the strings a little bit behind the scenes.
We're partners, so yeah.
You know we love you, Dave, and you know you're a big part of everything over here. So we thank you for all of that. And like I said before, if you want to put this video up after the fact on Attitude of Aggression still, I would love that. And people got to continue to go to attitudeofaggression.com because it's a great website as well. And there's some super awesome stuff going on over there between Game of Thrones, ufology, and of course the Big Five Project. Tune in live to the Attitude of Aggression YouTube channel this Friday as myself, Dave, and possibly others will be reviewing Survivor Series 1996.
One last pay-per-view in 96, and then it's on to 97, Tony. I know your nipples are
Oh, they're
excited.
getting hard. Let's get it over to Patrick because I know he's ready to talk some nerd stuff.
I am, and we got a fun little trailer park today. 4 trailers. We've got 3 episodes of television to discuss, much to PC Tunney's surprise. We got some news to cover around the nerdosphere, and then we'll talk some what you're watching and get y'all on about your day. The first trailer, we're going to dive right into the trailer park. Let's get to it. The first trailer we shared, this is actually a film that is now out, and it is a reflection of our previous podcast where we had kind of a lengthy discussion about AI, the role of AI in entertainment, uh, centered around Disney and its decision to pull out of the OpenAI uh, after the dissolving of Soros. Disney they'll be back in the AI sphere at some point. That's just what it is. But we got to talking about kind of both sides of what AI can and will be or could be in this coin. And in that conversation, it was like I just saw a documentary that is coming out or is already out. It came out, I think, on March 29th. So like last week it came out. And I couldn't remember the name of it. Went and searched for it. I shared it with all the guys. And I thought we would share it today. I did not put the entire title because the entire title of this documentary is like it's the link of War and Peace. But its basic title before you get to the secondary piece was just simply titled The AI Doc. And it is a documentary conducting a lot of interviews with people in the industry talking about the impacts that AI could have on our industries and in our future and what it could mean for us as a people. And the thing I found very, very interesting about this trailer is they actually show both the sort of why this technology could be scary, but also why this technology has the potential for great things. And I think that was really the crux of what we were talking about last week is that there is reason for concern if AI is not, when, for lack of a better way to describe it, if AI is in the wrong hands or is used the wrong way versus how it can be used beneficially. And I thought this trailer, at least in the introduction of this trailer, and I haven't seen the documentary yet. I hope to find it and watch it and give it a sort of a thoughtful look. I thought, at least from the perspective of this trailer, they lay out those questions and potentials pretty darn well, and thought it was just salient enough for us to carry it over, even though the movie's already come out. That to talk about because, like I said last week, Ray, when you weren't here, we had a lengthy conversation about AI when we got to that Disney discussion. So I don't know who wants to kick it off today. Uh, I'll let anybody who wants to
I'll
go
go
for
first.
raising his hand. So you kick it off. Your thoughts on this trailer for the AI doc?
I think it's fitting for me to kind of start this thing because my career and my livelihood is based on technology. Um, those of you has been teased a lot, but just to give full disclosure, a lot of what I'm using to rebuild this chair chat website, uh, since it died for our sins and is now rising to save us all, uh, is a lot of it is using AI. Um, and I use AI pretty regularly at work, and I guess both of my jobs now, and all certain things. So I have a bit of knowledge about it and its ills and its positives. But that trailer was very, very well done. The when you're a filmmaker and you want to really delve into a topic, you have to do both sides of the story because there's always going to be three. It's going to be your vantage point. But I love the fact that my guy did the fanatics and then actually talk to the CEOs and the people who building this stuff. And the irony is all of them are kind of saying the same thing in a different way. But um, it's historically our society has been afraid of what we don't understand, and that usually manifests itself through technology, right? So War with the Worlds movies and stories and um, what was the body snatchers and all that stuff, which is more
Oh, Invasion of the
ufology,
Body Snatchers.
but that's still technology because everything stopped at one point or whatever it is, and even now to more recent times with Y2K and everything else we've had since then, right? First and foremost, AI has been around for at least 30 years. This is not new. These are newer, smarter versions of AI. But I think the thing that a lot of people don't realize or don't want to realize is number one, it's going to take a very, very, very long time for our world to become iRobot because we still have the ability to not use AI. AI has not become the crux of our society. It is still now a tool. Like I have a lot of people at work that are always talking about, well, I'm gonna lose my job in a year. No, because we could just say don't use AI. We won't use it and you'll still have a job. The other thing is people talk about its intelligence, and I like that they touched on the fact that AI is not intelligent, it just recognizes patterns. But the intelligence that it will have, the patterns that it'll recognize, things that it can learn and can find, is only as strong and as capable as the people who are prompting the AI or building the databases. So there's a lot about AI and a lot about the technology that we're moving into in the 21st, 22nd, 23rd century or whatnot. That is a lot of misnomers floating around and a lot of unfounded fear. And so I really think this trailer and this movie can be good to illuminate a lot of that, to let people know that there are real things that can come from this. But also, you know, my old man died of Alzheimer's 4 years ago. AI can fix that in 5 years, maybe, right? My grandma died of cancer 3 years ago. AI's already found the markers for cancer, certain cancers. Like there's a lot of positives that can outweigh the overlordish thought of what AI could be if you watch a lot of sci-fi movies.
I don't know. The Terminator is pretty scary though.
Yeah.
It is.
Sorry,
You're
I
I'm
mean,
right.
just making jokes.
I'll go next because I think Ray and I have talked a lot about this stuff amongst
Mhm.
ourselves as far as what I've been doing at Attitude of Aggression, the revamp of the Chair Shot website, and all that sort of stuff. And I think everything Ray says is accurate, and the documentary really exemplifies a lot of that. It's got AI's got the potential for absolute greatness, like species redefining greatness if it's used properly. It also has the capability to exterminate us as a species if it determines that we're an inconvenient pain in the ass. And hey, we can do this stuff better. So I think the documentary really kind of, it set the stage for that. I mean, it does lean a little bit more on the apocalyptic side of things. I think that's, because that's like you're saying, Pat, Terminator really kind of exemplified what can go wrong with this whole thing. But I think it's very important to note that you just look at the way that AI is expanding exponentially, and the way that it's are we at the point where we're at generative AI yet? No, it's not sentient. It doesn't have that sort of things yet. But man, it's getting closer all the time, and I think you've got to be wary of that, and use it for the proper purposes, and hope that not that we can control it, but this that we can develop a relationship with it wherever it's going to go, that it's actually benefiting the entire planet. Because, in a week where Artemis launched, where we're on our way back to the moon in some form or respect, it's important to really look at this globally, from the humanity standpoint, from the planet standpoint, and it can do a lot of good there. So it was a very select theater run. I think it came out on March 27th. So when it hits streaming, I'll be one of the first ones to watch this thing because I definitely want to see the thought process, especially amongst the people who are developing the AI, and like, what are you guys thinking about where this is going? Because there's some trepidation there, but it looks like a really cool documentary.
I think the funniest thing about the trailer was the interviewer was sitting down with one of these people that run one of these companies and said, "Can you 100% promise me everything's going to be all right?" And he just goes, "Absolutely not."
Yep.
And
Yep.
that might sound scary to people, but there's not a lot of things you can 100% fucking guarantee anything.
No.
Um, the thing about it is, and Ray and Dave kind of touched on it, it's really going to come down to how responsible the creators and prompters and people who are educating and moving the AI forward from a human standpoint. Um, there's got to be fail safes in there. There's got to be certain, doomsday scenarios where you can just hit the switch and everything kind of falls down. it's a kind of scary thing. But I've noticed even just like my personal little different types of uses over the past couple years, it's getting better. It's learning to be better. And like you guys said, those patterns. The thing about it is, it could eventually one day become something that it creates its own patterns that we can't figure out. Then we're kind of fucked, you know.
Yeah, I think it'll be an interesting watch. I look forward to checking it out, and hopefully we can maybe even have an opportunity to talk about the film further on a later episode. So we'll just have to see where it takes us. I am definitely intrigued. Our next trailer also has me intrigued. Uh, it's titled Backrooms. It stars um, Baron Mordo himself, and I always
Chiwetel
mess up his name.
Ejiofor.
Yes. Um, and the basic synopsis, which you see in this trailer, outside of the weird shit that goes on, is a strange doorway appears in the basement of a furniture showroom. And it really doesn't do justice to the psychological horrors that are going on within this strange pocket dimension alternate world thing. People think he's crazy. He talks to a psychologist or a psychiatrist or somebody who just doesn't believe him until she walks through these doors. This movie looks bonkers. I also learned that it's based on like a not a creepy pasta, but like a short film by the same name that you can find, I think, on YouTube right now. That is just an expansion, and that's one of the things I love. I love films that get their start as short films that can be worked into as a more full story. The movie Lights Out is another good example of that. There's a film called Lights Out based on a short film horror that was on YouTube that gained a lot of traction that really kind of blew my mind while watching it. So strong acting cast, intriguing film. Ray, I'm going to start with you. You went first last time. Tunny, big horror fan that you are, I'm going to have you kick it off, and then we'll hand it over to
Favorite thing in the
Dave and then
world.
Ray.
It's an interesting thriller concept. It reminded me immediately of a video game that I played maybe 2 years ago or so. If anybody's ever played the Stanley Parable.
Yes, I know the
start-
Stanley Parable.
Yeah, I played the revamped deluxe edition. It's pretty cool. You start in a room and there's no one in the building, and you just can explore this entire building, and all you have is this sentient voice that once in a while prompts you. And if you decide to stop playing the game, the next time you come back, you're in the same room. And if you go different ways, you find different rooms. And this reminded me that a lot. So I might have to check this one out. I wish it was the movie The Stanley Parable, but we'll see.
Dave, have you ever been trapped in a pocket dimension underneath a basement of a furniture store?
Not lately. It sounds like an enticing possibility, though. I noticed that my visual effects have gone away, so there's going to be
It happens to
glitches.
me every episode, if you notice, right?
Yeah,
Video
and stuff
card.
like so
I mean-
get to see my file cabinet that I'd never used anymore, but that's all right.
I'm in the basement studio. I just show off the basement studio. Like I am the basement dweller.
That's true. You are the basement dweller. That is very true. This trailer looks really, really cool. It's A24, so you know it's going to be good, and you know it's going to be weird. But the whole concept of this this pocket dimension in the back storeroom somewhere that leads into, I got a very Severance feel from the back rooms, Pat. I got to be honest. These long hallways
at
going.
least the aesthetic. The
Yeah.
aesthetic kind of has a little bit of that.
Right. I mean, that sort of things. But like what's in this parallel dimension? What's in these back rooms? What exactly is going on? Because there's something down there with them that's not friendly per se. But
Yeah, we see some shadowy figures. There's some men in uniforms of some sort, look like almost like hazmat suits.
Yeah, this
Something creepy.
This absolutely looks like something I'm interested in, because anytime you get into that weird parallel dimension, pocket dimension, sort of, spaces between spaces aspect of things, I mean, Teddy and Reno, that's going to feed right into my line of thinking. So I'm like, let's go. Yes,
David,
let's jump on in
they're
there.
not aliens. Stop it. They're not.
They
aliens.
might be. You
Ray,
don't know
Ray,
that.
are they aliens? Ray, what are they?
The word alien technically means something we don't know.
See,
No,
They're your
don't
worst-
encourage him.
Or your worst
Damn it.
fears come to life. That's what they are.
No, so here's my thought, and I will be very succinct. I thought it was really cool that Doorman Davis from uh from Wonder Man finally came back to acting and did a Shining remake. I thought that was dope.
I mean, I don't. It's an allegory for alcoholism. That's what this is.
Doorman can walk through doors and make
Yes.
doors
No. I
in a
understand what you're
spot
saying.
with doors. The Shining is a movie about a hotel with doors.
Right, but the
I'll
question
be here all
remains.
week. Don't forget to tip your waiters, okay?
Try the
Don't forget to
veal.
tip your waiters.
But just remember, what happened to Josh Gad?
He's in one of those rooms.
Well, and you know how we know that we still haven't recovered Josh Gad because Olaf robots around the world are collapsing at Disney World. So Disneyland Paris, which by the way, also reassuring that AI isn't quite there with the robots taking over. So for those of you who don't know, there's a viral video. Disneyland Paris just opened up a new world of Frozen and they introduced a fully independent AI reactive Olaf animatronic. Literally wanders around the park, not by anybody running a control, having a conversation. He's walking, he's doing this little talk, and all of a sudden he just stops and falls over backwards. Poor Carrot Nose goes flying into the crowd, and the joke was children traumatized by seeing Olaf die right in front of them as the robot tumbled to the ground. He's fine, by the way. He's back. He's walking around again. And I also got nervous when Disney's like, good news, everybody. We're going to bring Westworld to all of our parks as there will be walking robots everywhere. Westworld, by the way, great show. If you haven't watched it, at least watch the first season.
Yeah, it sucks after the first season.
Well, that's one opinion. But anyway, it's not my fault you didn't understand it. It's cool. But anyway, all right. Let's move on to our actual trailers that we're going to share today. We got our second look at Masters of the Universe. I was not here to talk about our first go around, so I'm actually looking forward to this one. But Dave, you said you got this bad boy queued up for us to check it out before we respond. So why don't I hand this over to you and let you do it to it?
Yeah, let me get this thing set up here. Where are we?
We are in our
While
studios.
Dave is doing that, head on over to ProWrestlingTees.com/thechairshot. If you love the Bandwagon Nerds logo, get yourself a shirt right there. That's Bandwagon Nerd shirt at ProWrestlingTees.com/thechairshot.
Okay, there we go.
I know most of you don't remember me, but I know all of you. Even though I was stuck light years away on Earth, I never stopped trying to get back home.
Everything changed since you left.
It's all gone. Skeletor took my family. And he destroyed our world. It's not my fault. I know how it feels to fail. Take the sword. And when you fall, that's your chance to stand tall. This is my home. I'm gonna fight for it. But I can't do it without you. Somebody wants to brawl. I need every man, woman, or whatever that is, You may have the power, but you're too scared to use it. Trust me, I know how to use it.
You tell everyone that you're from another planet. It just makes you sound a little very crazy.
All right, so there you have it. There's round two. A lot more of a look at Eternia. My favorite thing going around the interwebs is people inventing a controversy over Skeletor's voice because they seem to think that it must be rooted in the voice from the 80s, which just patently ignores that there's been other He-Man cartoons and characteristics where Skeletor has had a different voice and nobody seemed to care. But I'm saying this as a guy who hates Jared Leto. Like, I don't care. The voice, it's fine. Like, it's a bad guy voice with a tinge of Brit thrown into it. Love that we get to see a better look at it, and I'm starting to feel a little bit better about what this movie could be, at least in terms of look and feel. It does look like a lot of fun, a lot of familiar characters. For me, in my childhood, you clearly see Fisto, Man at Arms, Tila, the Sorceress, Evil Lynn, Trapjaw. Um, who else? Roboto is the big robot, which my favorite thing about He-Man and the Masters of the Universe was characters just did not have complicated names. Like the fish guy was Merman. The furry dude was Beastman. The only thing that I am missing that is somewhat bothersome is that Orko has been nowhere to be found. And Orko has always been a pivotal part of the Masters of the Universe mythologies and series. And I don't know if they're hiding him and saving him for later. I hope that's the case. I think
small,
that
Orko's small, right?
he's a small, yeah, he's from the world Trolla,
Yeah,
and
so
is a
he's
different creature, flies around. It is my hope that we do get Orko. Alison Brie as Evil Lynn looks great. Did not know until I read through the casting thing that the voice of Roboto is actually going to be done by Kristen Wiig. I knew she was in the movie. I did not know that was where her role is. So it's a voice acting role. So that was very, very interesting. There's Ram Man. You can see Ram Man in the background, who was always one of my favorites and was the only character out of the initial run of the Masters of the Universe that was not built on the same character mold as every other character. He was built as this little squat dude that you push down, and there was a lever that made him jump so that he could ram into things like Ram Man. It was so great. So, yes, Ray. Are you catching joy from my childhood ruminations? Is that what it is? Okay.
I love Master Universe, yes.
So Castle Grayskull, like it has the look, it has the blend of fantasy and sci-fi technology that the show always had. Looks like it's building on lore from the various iterations of Masters of the Universe that have existed. So we'll see. I'm probably gonna go see it at the theater. I can't imagine that it won't. It looks like a bombastic, harmless popcorn movie that I think could be a lot of fun and exciting. I still, just hope that the ratio of time in Eternia to time on Earth is skewed towards Eternia. Because that was ultimately one of the biggest mistakes of the Dolph Lundgren He-Man movie. Now, that wasn't that film's fault. They didn't have a budget to do it. So they had to film in Earth as opposed to Eternia. I mean, they were so broke, they were fighting in front of stretched out trash bags in the finale to give an illusion of darkness.
The final scene was horrible.
That movie ended canon films. So anyway, so that's I don't really have anything negative to say about this trailer. Like I'm still uncertain as to whether this will work as a film until I actually see it. But hey, the nostalgia feels are there on a level. So we'll see what happens there. So Dave, it's your turn to go first.
It looks good. I mean, I think we were
Ooh, I
good.
did have one point of clarification question. How does it feel knowing that you were the face model for Skeletor? Was that good for you?
Well,
Wow.
I was
Wow.
gonna complain about his
Shots
look,
fired.
but now I'm not going to. So I mean,
What were you actually going to complain about the look of Skeletor?
I don't like. I mean, I don't have a problem with his voice, but his look is a little. I don't know. It feels a little plastic to me. I don't know if that's a good word for it.
Well, the toys were made out of plastic, so
I know, but the guy doesn't
Won't
have
you-
to be made out of
Wouldn't
plastic.
you say that the visual of the character and the voice is more like Marvel bad guy, like we've seen since the last? It's like just deep bad guy voice. You can't even tell it's Jared Leto. And Skeletor looks
right.
like he doesn't look like a skeleton. He looks like a bodybuilder.
Kinda? Yeah.
Which, again, I point you to the action figure. That's action figure accurate.
But the rest of it, I mean, that's the only, and it's a minor complaint. The rest of it looks great. I mean, Grayskull looks great, Eternia looks great, Man of War, all that sort of stuff. I mean, they've got,
Man of
you
War.
know, Man at Arms. Sorry, not I'm thinking of the
Yeah,
horse.
like-
Man at Arms. But it really looks. It looks good. This looks like the Masters of the Universe done right, because I know like you're talking about the Dolph Lundgren issues and what kind of went off the rails there, but this one doesn't look like it's got any budgetary concerns. So you're going to get the full story told in sparkling 4X fashion or Screen X or whatever Tony's going to go see it in. And I'm getting more than cautiously optimistic. I was cautiously optimistic with the first trailer. This has got me more than cautiously optimistic. I think that they're on the right path to getting this right. I love the cast. I love that part at the end. Trust me, I know how to use the power, that sort of thing. I think they've done a lot of things. I mean, the concerns we had when we first heard the plot have really dissipated a lot since then. I feel good about this. I will definitely go see this one in the theaters.
Very good. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Never mind. Must not have been that important. Tony, just save me. Save me, please.
I remember seeing this in the theater when it first came out. One of my favorite scenes was they were eating chicken outside of a gas station, and they're like, "This." The lady was like, "This is." He's like, "Don't think about your food while you're eating it." I think it was Teal Man at Arms.
Why do they put their food on these little sticks?
Yeah,
those are
like
rib
that.
bones.
Yeah. Oh, that's an actual.
It
Yeah.
tasted good.
This looks great. I really think it does. I think it's going to be well received. I think it's going to be overall accepted as a good movie. I'm not going to go see this in the theater. There are so many things I've got to go see the rest of this year. We talk about it on Nefarious Means. I will sit here right now and tell you I'll watch it when it comes out as streaming, but the honest to God's truth, I'll probably never watch this fucking movie.
Wow.
I appreciate the upfront honesty of it all. By the way, easily the best part of the original Dolph Lundgren Masters Universe movie was Frank Langella as Skeletor, just having the fucking overacting time of his life. Loved it. It was also the first movie I saw a post-credit scene for, even though post-credit scenes had existed before then. His head pops out of the lake. He says, "I'll be back." And I waited for that sequel. My 8-year-old self was ready for that sequel. And Ray, I got no sequel. Do you think this one will do well enough to garner a sequel? If he says, "Are you awake? You awake?" There you go.
Mm-hmm.
He's deep in meditation.
He's resting his eyes.
I'm here. Yes, it'll do. I think it'll do a sequel. I think it'll do really well. It's first and foremost. You talked about budget, Dave. It's Amazon MGM.
There is no budget. There is no budget.
Blank check, baby. But to quote the great modern philosopher Terrell Owens, get your popcorn ready.
Yeah, it's the definition of a popcorn film, and looks like a really good time. So we'll see how it goes. I hope it does well. I don't think it'll make Super Mario Galaxy money, but it'll make money. Dave, we got another trailer though that we're going to share with everybody. We got a deeper, bigger look at Supergirl.
Wow.
Well, Ray, you got
thanks for coming on the show today. We appreciate you.
Yeah, Ray. Later,
buddy.
We're
going to check out our second look at Millie Adcock as Supergirl. Dave, cue up the trailer, please.
I was just touching base to see when you think you might be coming back. You know, I'm just worried that you're not going to find your stride here if you keep going off-world all the time, Kara. I'm worried you're not going to find your people.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, Clark. I have no people. Well, miss, wherever you are, buddy.
As I walk this land of road,
Crypto and I at least had each other.
I have visions of
Honestly, I thought we were lucky. But look, almost by definition runs out. What can I do?
The Brickens carry the antidote on that person. He has 3 days.
You cannot give up on me.
It's a crime of the Yellow Hills. He murdered my innocent family.
Just do what I say. And don't die. This does not look like this is gonna end well for you guys.
Stop. You're hurting my head. Now what becomes of the broken hearted? Who I love has now departed.
Revenge. It won't take your pain away.
Your eyes are beautiful when you cry. A lot of pain, huh? A lot of suffering.
There's no home without you, buddy.
Aren't you the ditz from the dive bar?
Funny. That's what I've been calling you.
Touche.
Okay. I'm going to go first. I hated this trailer. I hated it so much. I'm gonna tell you why I hated this trailer right now. Stop me if you've heard this one. Movie produced by James Gunn. Trailer with a soundtrack from a catchy old-timey tune that we've all heard before, involving a digital animal in trouble that we need to rescue because we all love it because it's our friend forever. Also starring Jason Momoa playing himself in a Lobo costume. I am not impressed by this trailer at all. I will not talk any further about this trailer because I will shit all over the movie if I continue to do so, just like I have right here. Like, it looks like a superhero movie. I know it's based on an incredibly popular Supergirl story arc. It's very, very impactful. I will not disrespect that. This trailer absolutely did nothing for me. It actually made me a little mad. So that's where I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna go retainer boy. Ray, I'm gonna let's get the negativity out of the way, and then we'll let the other guys. I don't know how Tony feels, but I'm sure Dave will have some rebuttals that he will need to get out there.
Dave's gonna give it 6 stars in the Tokyo Dome. I
Only
Two
6.
Wrong
things.
Dave. That's the wrong Dave. That's really insulting.
You're right. My bad. 2 things I hate about this trailer. 'Cause I
Oh,
don't
sorry.
like
Hold on. I don't know who that is. I mean, sorry.
you giving away the gimmick, Tony. 2 things I don't like the trailer, but here's the 2 reasons why. The first reason is the most interesting thing about Kara, besides her kind of drunkenness because of her past, was delving into what happened at Krypton. On Krypton. I personally, now this is fantasy booking, but I personally was more interested in seeing not an origin story, but a revisiting of what happened and something she was running from coming back to get her. Which leads into the second problem. Dave, you're a dog lover, dog owner. I am now a dog owner. I love dogs. All of us love pets. I'm so fucking sick of crypto. And this movie now is John Wick in space. And I did not want that. I don't give a fuck about the dog. I don't give a fuck about why she needs the dog. I don't give a fuck about the dog being existing whatsoever. He is a tertiary character there for that should be there for comedic effect. And he is now becoming the entire impetus for this movie. And that to me kills it. Because now I don't give a fuck about her. I care about this fucking dog. And I don't care about the dog. And they're doing a bad job of making me care about the dog. So now this whole movie I gotta watch, she gotta go find Lobo, and she gotta find a little girl who looks like she can kill people at 15 years old. And they gotta go on all the spaceships and kill all the people and find the Ravager like people to get the antidote to save the dog. That is the point of this hour and 45-minute movie. I'm not gonna watch it. I don't care. How does this move this shit forward? It doesn't. Now, if something happened to the dog in the midst of a bigger story, all right, we can talk about it. That's the point of that. Nah, man, I'm out. I'm out, and I love dogs, and I appreciate wanting to make the dog something important. It's a no for me, dog.
All right, well, welcome to the non-DC hating part of the segment here, where Dave and Tony will actually give a fucking normal review as to what we just saw here on the screen. Ah, you're fine. You're a villain.
I was like, nah, I gave a very normal, rational
We all know there's something
response
wrong with them.
to that dog shit piece of shit trailer.
I thought you were done talking about
I lied.
negatively about the
I lied.
number one chair shot villain. All right, you know,
Go ahead.
we know Dave loved it, right? And I loved it while we were watching it. This for the second time. I love it. I love the way it's presented. I love what James Gunn does. I love all the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Guardians 3 is my favorite superhero movie of all time. I think this movie it's what gonna make DC formidable, because you're gonna end up with another character besides Superman that's going to connect with people. I think Jason Momoa as Lobo is excellent. It's the character he's wanted to play his entire life. I love the visual of Krem. I love the whole thing. I think you're going to be surprised when you guys see it. I think you're just seeing the flashiness in the trailer to get people interested. That's my opinion. I think this is going to be a banger of a movie, Dave.
By the way, I wasn't.
And Millie can come over anytime.
So that's why you like the movie. I didn't like the way Lobo looked either, for the record. I thought he could have looked a lot better.
He looks like Lobo.
He looks like Jason Momoa put on bad makeup.
Dude, compare him to the Lobo that they thrust down our throats on Krypton, and tell me that's not a massive improvement.
Never watched the show. That's what I want to know.
Well, there you go. There you go. No, Lobo looks like Lobo. I mean, that is. I understand. I'll say this. I think Patrick's critique, I recognize what he's saying. I think there's definitely some merit to that. Ray, I love you, but hating on it because they've made the dog a more central figure to the trailer. I don't know, man. I mean, I think Pat's right that this is a James Gunn rinse and repeat sort of scenario that you got going on. But
and let's be clear, James Gunn didn't direct this movie. Right, well, like James Gunn's not the director. He is he's the producer and the overseer. So,
but I don't
want to misconstrue that out there to the masses.
I get it.
James Gunn is involved. Did not direct this movie.
But I don't blame him for trying to capture lightning in a bottle the second time with what they pulled off with Rocket, to see if he can pull that off with Crypto as well. But the problem is Crypto doesn't talk, so he's a more sentimental sort of figure. I think the Krypton aspect of things, Ray, I honestly think that's going to be more involved than you're giving it credit for. You see a little bit of this with whoever Kara's dad, kind of watching her as she flies away right before that beam comes down. And yeah, right. So I wouldn't minimize how much the Krypton aspect of things is going to be in this movie. again, it's a trailer. I don't want to prejudge it either way, but I'm certainly more in Tunney's camp. I really like this trailer. I think it adds an emotional element to that. Kara is obviously a very troubled character at this point in time. She's got her own issues that she's dealing with. You get to see really early on the difference between her and Clark, right at the beginning, where Clark's like, "I'm afraid you're not going to find your people." She's like, "I have no people." That's a central part of this movie, and I think that's going to carry it forward. But I will definitely be going to see this because I do tend to agree with Tony. I think this is a big moment for DC that can push this DC universe forward. So I'm willing to give it a shot, man.
So I want to circle back real quick on a couple of things that I think are important to know. One, the story involving crypto is very much part of the comic book story that this movie is being based off of. So the crypto part of it isn't coming out of nowhere. And I will say honestly, if Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 didn't exist in the form that it exists, that might change my feelings about that particular plot point. Jason Momoa, great fun actor that he is, to me, and I want to say this is just to me, feels like he is playing the same guy in a lot of movies that he does now. I say that seeing him like Aquaman, especially when he's introduced in the way he's introduced in Justice League, but also in his film. I just watched him in the Minecraft movie where he's basically the same character. I just saw I just see the same. I see a lot of the same, and it reminds me of like Jack Black in movies now. Like I don't see Jack Black as a character. I see Jack Black dressed up as a character and doing his shtick as that character. That's what I see right now with Jason Momoa out of Lobo. Admittedly, I'm not as familiar with the comic book character, so he may be channeling what we should expect out of Lobo. I just, to me, as a guy watching that, I'm just like, there's Jason Momoa cosplaying, and that's maybe not fair. I don't know.
To your point, there is a risk that they're running here with Lobo because Lobo is typically
beloved.
He's beloved, but he's not really an anti-hero. He's definitely a bad guy. And in this movie, you see her basically going to recruit his services to track down these things that have poisoned crypto.
Right.
And if anybody can pull off Lobo, because I mean, I know Jason Momoa has loved that character. It's very similar, and not similar, but it's comparable to the way Ryan Reynolds felt about Deadpool. Jason Momoa has felt that way about Lobo for many years. So I'll be interested as anybody to see how they kind of pull that whole thing off and pull it all together. But it's got potential. But what's really interesting is just like how polarizing a character Crypto has become. And it's really, there's a hard dividing line. People love Crypto or they hate him.
Is it, and this again is a guy not knowing a lot of the impressions outside of this, because we only live within our own social media bubble, right? Like whatever our algorithm shows us, that's what we see in our impressions. I've never really thought of Crypto as particularly polarizing, at least from what I've seen. I'm not mad about the dog, like at least not the way like Ray stated it. I think the story feels too familiar to something I've already seen, and that's been my challenge. But we gotta.
Can I say one more thing?
Last thought on this, and then we really got to move on. We've been going for almost an hour.
Dislike Crypto. I don't dislike Crypto as an idea.
You hate all dogs.
Yeah. Well, then I need to go get his back. I don't like making the movie about the dog, and I understand that may have been a story, but that I think you are killing what the movie needs to be.
Well, I really think it's just a part of the story. I don't think
they made a whole trailer about it, my boy.
So we're running into speculation land. I bet you we're gonna have at least one more trailer. I do think ultimately Crypto Crypto is the MacGuffin for Kara to get her shit together. That's my crypto is a MacGuffin.
That's a new currency, I think, Cryptomo. I think people want to buy into Cryptomo real soon.
Invest into Cryptomo.
Probably,
we're all going to do
probably
it.
more profitable than Bitcoin.
In fact, we're going to take a quick commercial break where you'll have the opportunity to invest in Cryptomo or hear whatever your algorithm thinks you should hear if you are not listening to this live. So we're going to be right back. When we come back, we're going to start jumping into our episode reviews. I'm making a few changes to the rundown on the fly, but we're going to kick it off with some Invincible talk. So for those of you not listening to the live stream, we'll be back in about 30 seconds to do that. If you're listening to live, give us about 2 seconds, and then we'll dive right in. You're listening to Bandwagon Nerds here on the Chairshot Radio Network, part of the Chairshot.com. Welcome back, everyone, into Bandwagon Nerds here on the Chairshot Radio Network, a part of the Chairshot.com, where we remind you to always use your head. Make sure you head over to ProWrestlingTees.com/theChairShot and invest in all of your Chairshot swag. I have a Bandwagon Nerd shirt. Why don't you have a Bandwagon Nerd shirt? I'm sure there's a spring Easter code thing that you could do on the site right now to get yourself a little saved cheddar on the price. Just saying. I know that I got the cheese guy over there, the Wisconsin cheesehead. I said cheddar, and he was like, "Oh, cheddar? Is it sharp? Did
yes, extra sharp, extra
sharp
cheddar.
Extra sharp cheddar." There you go. All right, let's talk about the most talked about episode of Invincible this season so far, and for many reasons. And I said this to Dave before we started recording on Four Corners. Gonna come off like the wet blanket on the show today because the episode was fine, in my opinion. And let me explain why. Tony, you're gonna get your chance. I'm gonna let you guys talk about how much you love it. I hear the dogs are upset too. I'm sorry, dogs. I'm sorry. Here is why. I have repeatedly compared this show to a certain anime program that existed forever and has a certain type of model. And I feel like we got one of those episodes now when comparing Invincible to Dragon Ball Z, where Dragon Ball Z is notorious for all this stuff that happens in Kurugus leading up to a big fight, and it takes forever to get there. And then the big fight happens, and everybody forgets how boring and unexcited the episodes were because we finally got something that we've been waiting for. And there's a lot of it all comes to this. This was this big deal. It was far and away the most gory episode we've seen so far. Mark's guts literally ripped out of his body. He's going to be fine, everybody. This show's called Invincible. He's going to be fine. We get this huge battle against Conquest. Tony is throwing sayings at me, but like the episode was fine. The episode was progress. The episode, I hope it marks the end of Conquest. Like that was kind of the point. I don't know if this is Conquest dead. Are we saying he's not dead? I think the line Conquest can take care of himself was pretty loaded, or will have to take care of himself. To me, the best part of the episode was the first half of the episode when Sandra Oh took over the fucking show and was the emotional heartbeat of everything leading up to Mark. And oh, that's right, we don't have the soundbite.
We do. Dave can find it.
Oh, well, but which
soundbite is this?
We can't have him doing that stuff. No soundbite
is this?
It's too complicated for you. It's okay. You're an old man. You're just a simple caveman. These bright lights and shiny things confuse and frighten you.
I just need to know which one you guys want.
Well, it's too late because the moment has passed.
I'm pretty sure it literally says ding.
Yeah. Well, now don't ding now. No. See, now you failed. You have failed. You have failed as a person. This is like my old man trying to program the VCR back in the day. Do I hit this button now? Do I do it here?
Terrible.
Anyway.
Oh, sorry. Just had.
God. This is worse than Greg DeMarco. Anyway. I thought the first, Nolan coming back and thinking that he was going to be able to give this apology, and that was going to be okay, and everybody that he went to talk to rejecting him, everybody, even the dude making suits, being like, "I make suits for heroes," like just nut punch, nut punch, nut punch. That was the best part of the episode to me. The fight and the action in the beginning of the actual war was I gave zero shits about that. I gave zero shits about that. Once that fight started, and that's the part that everybody's gone nuts for. Okay, Sandra Oh carried that episode with the emotional reaction to the demand that they have a family dinner before they leave, and that be the last thing that they do together. To her goodbye, like that was the best part of the episode, in my opinion. The big fight that everybody's talking about, it's fine. It's fine. It was more bloody, which is saying a lot, but it was more bloody than what we've seen. But that part was fine. So, and here's the other thing. Hope you all aren't expecting anything in space next week, because we going back to Earth. I'm telling you right now, we're going back to Earth next week, and we're gonna follow along with some other folks. I'm 98% sure that that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna give you a week away from the space stuff, and there'll be an after credits tag. There'll be an end of the episode tag. So I've said my piece. I will step away from the microphone and cede the floor to PC Tunney. He told me that comparison is the thief of joy. I also know you really enjoyed the episode. So talk about your thoughts on this week's edition of Invincible.
I have been waiting for this show to come back. So excited. I don't think I've had anything less than like a 8 for every single episode out of 10 in this series. I've enjoyed it so much. And today, the dynamic of when they had the dinner, man, I was just like, oh, you know, um, the interactions between Oliver and Omni-Man and Mark and Omni-Man about Oliver really touched me as well. Um, but it's just an amazing. I'm like sitting through the whole episode during the fight scenes in outer space. I'm like, Battle Beast is gonna save their asses. Let's go. Where's my Battle Beast? Not yet. Not yet. I do love the new character we introduced, the young lady. What is her name?
Tech,
Zoe.
Tech.
She's
But it's
Zoe,
it's
right?
tech
The one-
something.
The one who's she's with Alan on the
Yeah.
Viltrumite spaceship.
and her
yeah.
and her dad is awesome. That's Bobby Moynihan playing her dad. By the
Tech
way.
jacket. Tech
Yeah, and Alan coming in with the hug and everything was a really cool moment. Them hiding out and not being able to give him an inch more of space, but they can play video games is pretty sweet. Just the whole thing I love so much, and I'm okay if we go back to Earth next week. There's a lot of things. I think Eve reveals that she's pregnant to Mark's mom before, obviously, Mark now. And it sucks that she didn't get to reveal that. I wonder if he comes home to his new daughter, who's Tara Grayson, by the way. Spoiler alert. But yeah, I just love everything about it. I love the characters. I love the fact that these actors that are playing these characters are so good. Like, um, who's Omni-Man? J.K. Fitzsimmons, right?
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons, my bad.
No fits. No fits.
I'm thinking Cotton Fitzsimmons. Is just an amazing voice behind Omni-Man, and the inflection and emotion he just shows with his voice. And obviously Sandra Oh, I agree with Patrick, had an amazing episode. The monologue that she had about Omni-Man and everything else, and you brought up the interactions and stuff. It's interesting because yeah, the end of the episode is Cecil and hoping everything goes, or the middle part of the end of the episode is like that. I think we get back to that. Cecil, some problems on Earth, but I'm here for it. I can't wait. I really, really can't wait.
Dave,
What's important about the Debbie scene?
Oh shit. Real quick, Ray and I talked about this, and this is a good transition over to Ray. I really apologize. I forgot to mention it. It's a really key thing. I didn't like one part of the episode. I didn't like the fact that they used the clown pulling the scarves out of his mouth with Mark's guts. It was a little too much. And Ray and I talked briefly about this because we didn't have a lot of time to talk about it today, but I was like, yeah, I was literally yelling at my screen the last 10, 15 seconds of that, like, okay, I don't need to see this anymore. Can we just move on? Sorry, Ray.
No, you're good. Yeah, I'm not I don't mind gore. That stuff doesn't bother me. I'm not queasy. Even I was like, bro, that's a bit much. Um, but back to the Debbie point. The important thing about the Debbie scene is that went exactly opposite of what happened in the comics. In the comics, she folded and was willing to go right back with them because she missed them. But she made the most reasonable decision anybody's made in this entire show, and she let that dude have it in only the way she could. And it wasn't. She didn't verbally eviscerate him. She didn't like say the coldest line and drop the mic. She just she poured her heart out. And it was to the point where literally Nolan was like, I don't know what to say. And the line she had where she was like, well, if I was supposed to make you more human, I failed. So he's like, well, I'm not Viltrumite enough. I'm not human enough. Well, what am I? And I love how that's added to the part when he was with Art, the dude who makes the suits. And the whole time you're thinking, well, damn, I guess Art really missed his boy, right? They chilling. And he hits him with the whole, I only make suits for heroes. And then he leaves. And then you see him clutch his chest, terrified the whole time. Such a great, great part. Um, also when they all left and the entire like Shield esque organization all cheered because they was happy the Viltrumites
They're like,
were
thank
gone.
God. First time in 20 years, there's not been a Viltrumite on Earth.
But man, so Battle Beast absolutely is going to be a big part of what flips it. Plus, it didn't have the dude Nolan wrote about. He wasn't there. The dude who rides the rocket guy, whatever his name is.
Right.
But that fight was indicative of what's going to happen further and how brutal this fight is going to be and how dangerous these Viltrumites are. I didn't think they could overdo. I didn't think they could make a better visual, just a visual still than the Omni-Man Think Mark Think still. But the visual of Conquest about to grab your boy Oliver is the greatest visual still I've seen in the history of animation. That is amazing. Whoever did that, give them a raise today. The fight needed to be gory though, because as we've seen from the Viltrumites in 3-4 seasons, how many seasons it's been, it literally takes an act of God to kill these dudes, right? And so it had to be that gory because nothing stops these dudes. They are just like I don't know what they made of, bruh.
Well, while I was watching that episode and the guts are being pulled out, the Mrs. O'Dowd was even like, "What is happening?" And I was like, "Well, this is going." And I was looking for it while you were talking. I was trying to find the article. There was an interview that Robert Kirkman did that I was having trouble finding, where he talks about why they really needed that scene to be as gory as it was. Like that there was a reason behind it. And Dave, were you holding your finger up to say yes or yes? Go ahead.
Well, that's what I was going to comment on. I mean, everything you guys said about Debbie and Nolan and Art and Nolan and the relationship between Nolan and his sons. I don't have a whole lot to add to that, other than I do think that Nolan has a newfound respect for Mark, because you can just see the way that he interacts with Mark, that he really kind of defers to Mark on certain things, especially as far as Oliver is concerned. But the fight at the end, what I loved about it is that Mark's determination, unyielding determination to kill Conquest while he's being disemboweled, is really what made that fight stand out to me so much. It's like, it didn't matter what, he was not going to let go of Conquest no matter what, because I think part of the problem was his shock and dismay and just disgust at the fact that he was still alive, because Mark thought he killed him.
Well,
and then to realize that he's still there, he was not going to make that same mistake the second time, no matter the cost. And yeah, you're right. He's invincible. They're obviously not going to kill Mark off. But boy, I don't know how he recovers from that. And even like when Nolan and Oliver arrive on the scene and they see it, to me, it felt like when the Emperor arrives on Mustafar and sees Anakin like cut in half and burnt to a crisp, there's that element of like, oh shit. And just Nolan's reaction, Oliver's reaction, you're like, oh shit, this is far worse than they could have anticipated.
And Stephen Yen did this article or did this interview with Kirkman. And he was like, there's also this other gear where he's trying to beat this guy and he wants vengeance. There's a tension between holding his grip and pushing down while his stomach is being ripped out. It's a metaphor for the loss of innocence that Mark's experiencing. You're getting yourself ripped out while you're still trying to assert yourself. So it was with intent.
Right. And whatever Mark is not going to be the same on the other side of this. I think I think we can all agree on that. And it's going to be a pretty significant shift in his personality, probably his viewpoint on things. And if he was on the fence about the war, this is going to firmly put him on these motherfuckers have to be stopped at all costs.
And most importantly, Glenn got his revenge on Negan.
I saw that and I laughed so hard.
Yes, there you go. Yes, awesome. That's awesome.
The biggest thing to me, pulling the fucking clown trick scarves out of the mouth and just out of Mark's belly, it just shows you he is invincible because he's going to survive. You can pull his innards out. He's still going to win. He's still going to be alive. And guys, what kind of shit is going to hit the fan when he realizes that it's Cecil that kept Conquest alive?
And how great would the show be if Mark's actually dead? They got to go the rest of the season without him.
Wow.
Oh, look at
they may
stir it a pot.
They might stretch that out for an episode, but like where you're not sure for an episode.
I'm telling you, they're not going to be in space next episode. I am willing to bet monies that we are going to be back on Earth.
The
dealing with some shit in Earth.
The fix is going to be when Alan's girl comes back to go get him, and because they have the thing, the pod that can fix whatever. So that's the fix. But it's how long? Yeah, right, right, Tony. How long will it take for them to get back? As
yeah, I'm nearly certain and this is just a very tropey move in television, and Invincible's done this in previous episodes where you get this major thing. This huge cliffhanger, and in the next episode, you're like, what the fuck's gonna happen? And if you want to know what you're in for, don't skip the episode recap because that'll tell you what's happening on the show. That'll tell you what you're gonna focus on.
By the way,
so
just real quick note. So the irony that last week's episode was about Satan, and this week's episode, the son died. And next week he might rise.
Wow.
I mean,
Jesus, the religious overtones of this show. God.
When does this come? Does this come out on a Tuesday?
Oh Lord.
Yes.
The show does,
yeah.
So
3 days.
3 days later.
It'd be longer than 3 days.
3 days after we did our show.
3 days after.
So
he is risen. Where's Shawn Michaels when I need him?
All right.
Good Friday to Easter, 3 days. Same thing here.
Let's shift to some other religious allegory because we got 2 episodes of Daredevil Born Again that we need to talk about. I told this to Dave also when I said I was going to be a little bit of a wet blanket. I thought my favorite episode of anything we watched out of the 3 things that we were required to watch was actually episode 3 of Daredevil Born Again season 2. I loved everything about that, to Daredevil making his move, to Fisk responding, the manipulation by Mayor Fisk to have Matt Murdock like make him out to be a savior so that everybody's looking for both of them at the time.
Brilliant.
And he's talking to the guy who's the head of the anti-vigilante thing, and the guy's like, "Oh, I can do both." He's like, "Oh, sure, you can. Yeah, you can definitely kill kill Daredevil and bring in Matt Murdock."
Right, and to see the walls starting to close in on, not just Matt and Karen, but also in ways the Kingpin and Vanessa. Vanessa clearly being stalked by Bullseye, it seems, as he works on his revenge tour. Though and through that, tangentially taking out some of Fisk's task force. Uh, what is the young Gandolfini's character's name? The walls are closing in on him too because
Daniel.
Daniel.
Yeah. Oh, I was like, I'm losing it. I should have brought the IMDb page up because I like to keep all the actors in front of me. But to bring back a tradition, Patrick O'Dowd forgot a character name, so drink.
All right.
Enjoy.
The revelation
Enjoy the
of who was
water.
doing the Kingpin videos.
Well, we kind of knew that was going to be her, though, didn't you? Like I thought it was going to be BB.
Daniel not
Right.
outing BB.
Well, because Daniel knows, like, and that's the other thing. Daniel knows. He just doesn't want to admit he knows.
And I think Buck knows. Yeah. Buck knows that Daniel knows, and he's trying to tell him, do the right thing before this gets bad.
Do your job.
Yeah.
So
meanwhile, Buck's about to get Buck naked. He's going to get Buck naked with their therapist.
Tagged Heather. But it's as set up by Vanessa. Like there's we doing all kinds of intersections and weaving. We still haven't seen Jessica Jones yet. We know she's coming, but we also the jailbreak scene with him and the swordsman and the decision to get in there and just the way that all is broken down. That Daredevil, Matt had to make a choice between bringing down the Kingpin or rescuing the people. And he chose to save people. And that was his redemption that cost him a step with the Kingpin because now that ship is blown up. And all those possible witnesses
are gone.
Blew up with him. So love that. We also get the return of White Tiger. Get our new White Tiger, which is also very exciting. And I love that we get to see her responsibility in slashing the tires so that they couldn't be chased. It was just wonderful. I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. To the cops protecting Cherry, the old cops protected Cherry in the hospital room and then moving him when they go to make a move. That we've got somebody on the inside of the task force that at least is on some level helping Matt Murdock and team.
How cool was it that they went by Josie's to be like, we don't want nothing, just wanted you to know. That was a really cool way they did that.
That was So I just thought there was just so much good that came out of that. I loved that episode. Episode 3. Episode 2 was a lot more of the foundational stuff as we lead to the trial and we get to this vigilante task force. We finally see Lily Taylor as the governor, which was a nice. I forgot that they had cast her in that role. Great character actor, been in a lot of stuff. You've seen Lily Taylor in movies before, even if you don't remember who she is. But the other big thing that I loved about episode 2 leading into episode 3 is the reminder that this is really a story about 2 characters, not one. And the end of that episode, when Fisk and Vanessa are lying in bed and Vanessa is talking about seeing a life away from here, and Karen and Murdoch also lying in bed and talking about living a life outside of this crime fighting world. And, and him talking about, I liked Brooklyn. It was nice. And just one pair living in fear of losing everything that they have, and the other pair leaving what they know would be doing what is right. But seeing one pair looking happy and the other one looking scared, I think was a very important dichotomy. And the thing that I've always loved about the Daredevil series, all the way dating back to Netflix, is Daredevil is the title of the show. The series is about 2 men. And they're 2 sides of a coin. So I thoroughly enjoyed Daredevil this week. Dave, I'll start with you. Your thoughts on Daredevil?
No, I agree with pretty much everything you said. I think it's a great show. The 2 episodes were really, I do think episode 2 was foundational. The courtroom sort of aspect of things. You get to see the corruption of Fisk's anti-vigilante act, and these 3 judges, basically saying, "Our hands are tied. We know that this is wrong, but there's nothing we can do about it. Mr. Duquesne, you're going away for a long time." That sort of thing. So, you got that. I think the big thing, because I don't have a whole lot to add because you did such a great job summarizing it, but I love how they are really playing the Jessica Jones return very well, because you're like waiting for this. Like, is this where she comes back? They're in trouble. You know, when they're all in, and when he's doing the big jailbreak, you're like, boy, they really need somebody to come in here and rescue their ass. Is it Jessica's turn? Nope, it's not. So I love how they're doing that, and the fact that when she does return, you know it's going to be for maximum effectiveness. They're playing that up really, really well. It's a great show, and it really is this relationship, the integration of Matt and Wilson Fisk, and where that is going, and the rabbit hole that's tumbling down into, is done very well. So I think the show is great. Love seeing White Tiger come back in the new iteration. Just a lot of things that they're doing well on this show right now.
Ray, to you, sir.
So the one thing we have a lot to talk about, so I don't want to belabor the point because Patrick, you laid it out like Dave said beautifully, and Dave's points too. I want to touch on the one thing we haven't talked about that I thought is really cool and is going to be more indicative of the future going forward. Karen's getting sick of Matt's shit. Karen and her relationship with Frank really has changed her in a way that where she's like, they had the conversation in Frank's little hideout, and she was like, well, look, we ain't got to kill everybody, but maybe, you know. And it was
Maybe
interesting
killing
that
somebody's not so bad.
maybe one of them, and then for her to bring the gun with her to the breakout and to use the gun to get out. Because I thought she was going to pop one of those anti-vigilante dudes, but she didn't. She just took out what she needed to take out. But Matt's going to catch that. And I don't think they're very long for each other. Charlie Cox came out and said something that pissed off a lot of Daredevil fans, where he said that to him, Karen Page is the most important woman that's ever been in his life. And Elodie Young was like, hey, y'all, Elektra exists. So I don't really think, we've joked about it, Dave and I like to joke about this all the time personally, that between Matt Murdock, Clint Barton, and Dick Grayson, like, and Peter, yes. So there's another girl coming, he gonna find. Like, she might not be caring for long.
Matt Murdock fucks.
Yeah, I think that there's a Bandwagon Nerds poll this week. Who's the biggest whore in all of comics? Matt Murdock, Clint Barton, or Dick Grayson? Yeah, I'm kind of thinking it's Hawkeye. I mean, Dick's got Dick in his name, so
let me tell you why it's Hawkeye. Because Hawkeye had a whole episode, a whole issue where
Tony's posting it right now.
All three of his girls were together looking at him like, what you gonna do, bro? What we doing? Like, so I ain't never
was
seen
like,
Dick or Matt fall into that.
I'm doing you, and you. That's what I'm doing.
And he got out of
not necessarily in that order either, but
right. Very much.
There you go, Ray. Do it, Ray.
Oh man, I still love Hawkeye. Great character.
Thank you.
This episode's been rolling. Tony, your chancer today. Did we already give you a go?
I don't have much to add that you guys didn't already.
Oh, just kidding.
I just continue to be in love with this series as well. I think it just hits every single episode. You know, the storytelling's brilliant. We talked about the voice acting on Invincible. Well, the actual acting here is, I mean, Vincent D'Onofrio is probably one of the best cast people in a character as Kingpin.
Built to play this role. You know, when
I don't see anything but Kingpin when I watch it, right?
So many, and that just to bring this full circle to what I was talking about with the Supergirl trailer, that's the difference. Like I don't see Vincent D'Onofrio at all, and I think about the number of ways that when Marvel nails a casting, Jesus Christ, did they nail a casting? Tom Hiddleston, Josh Brolin, and Vincent D'Onofrio, all of them easily. Just perfection in the casting, whether that be a credit to the actor or a credit to the character, or a little bit of both. Perfection. So,
can I give a quick spoiler real fast? And it's not a real spoiler, but because it's out. But they have shown set photos to season 3 that Luke
the Defenders
and that Luke and Danny are officially back.
Oh, that's
In
nice.
season 3, Luke Cage and Iron Fist are coming back.
Yep.
So they're just dragging this Defenders thing out. That's fine.
And,
No,
I was never.
fine with
They were
that.
always going to bring them back. I don't. People really like
But-
jump the gun.
Yeah.
But can we just recognize I like the way that they are, quote unquote, dragging this Defenders thing out.
Right.
Like
Agreed.
I think it's
Right.
the right way. Like having them all just pop back up doesn't really work. And
This-
from what I understand, when this season ends, it's the end of a chapter and we're moving to a new chapter, which might make sense for because this is a very personal story for Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk.
Right.
So, in my opinion, it makes a lot of sense that the extra heroes aren't at his level. And I think that's the challenge you run into
Right.
if you have a Jessica Jones as a consistent regular or Frank Castle in the previous season, supplemental in there for an episode or two, but not there forever. And then getting the Defenders in later works for me.
Well, I think this slow burn makes more sense, especially in a post-doomsday sort of environment.
Well, and what happens with this if this season ends and we bring the Hand back in season 3 of Daredevil with the Defenders coming back? Because we know we're going to get the Hand in Spider-Man.
Mhm.
Like there's a lot of possibilities. So it's exciting stuff. Tony, you did a fist bump. Was that sports related or was that Daredevil related?
Draft related.
Draft related.
Have you heard
Right.
who's supposed to be the guy running the Hand now in Spider-Man? Have you heard?
I have not yet.
Do you want me to
I
tell you,
didn't.
or do you want to?
Yeah, it's
You-
fine. You can tell me.
Supposed to be Mr. Negative, Martin Lee.
Good.
And
That
if
makes
we
sense.
get him on screen, my God, what a dude built for actual CGI.
Right. Like that's a character in sort of that later era of Spider-Man in the Brand New Day area that people actually wanted to see, not MJ's new boyfriend. So fans are pissed about that. If that guy turns out to be who they think it is. All right. There we go. That's your recap for Daredevil and Invincible for this week. We will be back again next week. And Jesus Christ, guys, do you know what comes out in 3 days?
Not the girls, but the boys.
Oh, the boys.
boys.
Oh, geez.
That was
So-
cute, Tony. That was real cute.
I do think next week's episode, everyone, speaking of spoiler alerts, is going to be 3 segments in a trailer park. And it's going to be Trailer Park, Invincible, Daredevil, and the
Damn.
boys.
One of
So
my
I gotta
favorite
miss.
movies,
I gotta
3
miss
Men and a
that
Baby.
one. I gotta miss that episode.
Tuddy could have like 6 hours of television to watch, depending on the release
These
schedule.
motherfuckers better all just drop one motherfucker next. I looked into it. Daredevil's not supposed to do that again. Neither is Invincible. Is the boys supposed to just drop one at a time? Hopefully.
I don't
Probably
know.
three. Probably
I haven't
drop
three.
looked.
three.
I haven't. How
I'm
about
gonna
what
effort.
season?
I'm gonna
Yeah,
effort. I'm gonna
effort.
I got it.
While
I
you
got it.
while you effort that, we're gonna take another commercial break. We come back. We got some fun news around the nerdosphere. More stories from last week coming full circle to this week, as well as.
Who visit the chair shot?
Whoops.
I guess I am not. I guess I'm going to the commercial break now, and that scared the shit out of me, bro.
There's 2
Sorry, man.
episodes next week, so yeah.
Tony's got
Can I-
4 hours of television. We're basically watching The Return of the King next week, everybody. The extended edition, not
Yes.
the theater edition. Plus, because 3 of those programs are Amazon programs, we get an extra 45 minutes of commercials
I paid for
put
the
in
$3, my
awkward
boy.
times.
I had to do it. I
I gotta
couldn't do
say
it
this
myself.
though. I put out on social media what we talked about last week or the week before.
Right.
Until all the other streaming services do what Amazon Prime does while you're watching the episode, the fact that you can find out exactly what music is playing, exactly who's playing the cast, and what their character is, you're just in the wake of Amazon Prime right now.
Right. So, all right. We know Dave has figured out how the commercials work.
Here we go.
Are you gonna play the commercial? Are you gonna?
I'm going to
put
play
live
the
stream through
commercial. Yeah. We will play it live.
All right. I'm gonna do a little warm up before we do it. So don't hit the button too early because I get it. This is very frightening and confusing for you.
Well, we're still working
Like-
out the kinks of what works and what doesn't.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine for 10 years, PC Tony has done both of these jobs on one show? It's amazing.
I mean, I did it on the show for a while. Then something
hope-
happened. I lost
I
my
hope your
recording
hand don't hurt
privileges.
patting your ass on the back.
Yeah. Barry.
What better?
All right,
reference than
anyway.
Barry
PC
Horowitz,
PC
during
Horowitz.
Passover?
PC
Yeah.
Horowitz.
All right.
There you go.
On that note, let's head into our second commercial break. We come back, some news around the nerdosphere. You're listening to Bandwagon Nerds here on the Chairshot Radio Network, part of the Chairshot.com.
Why should you visit thechairshot.com? Thechairshot.com is your home for hard-hitting reviews, news, opinion, and analysis with attitude. Why? Because you're smarter than the average fan. Thechairshot.com. Always use your head.
Welcome back, everyone, into Bandwagon Nerds here on the Chairshot Radio Network, part of the Chairshot.com, where we remind you to always use your head. I got a small bit of feedback for you, David. I don't know if you can. Gotta find a soundbite volume. My eardrums. I took my headset off and could hear Christopher Platt from the headset at a distance. I'm in my upper mid 40s. My heart can't
That
take
was
such
a Chris
surprises.
problem. That was a Chris problem.
That
not
was a
Dave.
Chris problem.
I'll talk to Chris about it.
Why should Dave turn the volume down on the sound bites? Because Patrick O'Dowd is in his upper mid 40s and his heart just can't take it. Where do you go to protect the age of the elderly? You go to volume and you turn it down. Chairshot.com, a little bit quieter for the old folks.
Listen, all the concerts and bowling you do, you'd think you would have barely any hearing left at all.
What?
Well done.
All right, let's get into some news around the nerdosphere. This first story I shared, Zendaya did an interview. And last week, as we were talking about, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, I can't remember when, but we made this comment that like this year is like the year of Zendaya. Because we've got her in the latest season of Euphoria. She's in Spider-Man Brand New Day. She's in Dune Part 3. She's in that project with Robert Pattinson?
The drama.
She's in that movie. The drama. Like, she is everywhere. And so I just happened upon this interview where Zendaya says she's going into hiding after the drama and Euphoria, and Variety decided to give me a pop-up ad of Joe Rogan's The Studio. I don't want it. Exit out. Exit out. Exit out.
Interesting.
Why? No, I don't care about this giant ad. Spider-Man more and more. And she said, I quote, I hope people don't get sick of me. And let's assume, let's take her at her word that she doesn't have anything else going on. I wish more people would pay attention to actors when they are self-aware and recognize where they are in their career, what they can do, and that it's okay to take a break and not get overexposed. When's the last time you actually heard an actor be like, look, maybe I should step away? Because you know what? I also heard that in her place that, oh God, what's her name? Shit. It's a running joke on the show.
I'll drink.
Yeah.
Florence Pugh.
Yeah. I hear Florence Pugh is taking her place next year.
Listen,
you're welcome.
Do you, Patrick and Dave, draw the same conclusion in the back of your head that Ray and I did, that it's time for her and Tom to have their first baby?
Yeah. I was thinking that
maybe
that's possible.
I mean, just like Mark and Adam Eve. Hopefully Zendaya tells Tom about it, though, before he goes off to battle villains in Spider-Man, you know?
I mean, it's that, or it's the whole absence makes the heart grow fonder. And I mean, when you're as high profile as she's going to be this year, taking a step away to create, like pull away and then create the demand for you again makes a lot of sense. But the pregnancy angle is on the table probably.
But I do think there is something that's really interesting with this idea of overexposure and a lot of artists who don't recognize, and I'm not begrudging people work. I want to say that. And I will say that overexposure, I think, from actors is largely more due to promotional efforts made by studios or producers, because we make the Florence Pugh joke. The reason we make the Florence Pugh joke isn't really Florence Pugh's fault. Like, the reason we made the Florence Pugh joke was because Marvel wanted to make it damn clear that Florence Pugh was in the new Avengers. Oh, I'm sorry, the Thunderbolts. Like they hammered us over the head with her.
I'll
Not
add one more.
Florence Pugh.
I'll add one more thing to this comment, to this discussion. You guys can take it from there. But it's possible that she just needs a fucking break. And
Right.
two, you look at the movies she has. Okay, she's got 2 Marvel movies. She's got the drama, and she's got the Odyssey. If you just say that she is
Oh,
necessary,
I
to
forgot
be
about the Odyssey.
both Marvel
she's in the
movies,
Odyssey,
right?
yeah.
It's necessary
Dune.
because of the story.
And Dune is
But
a drama.
these 3 different types of projects, they're all different too. So like oversaturation in one genre is not necessarily there, playing completely different characters. I'm gonna say something funny and stupid, but as long as she doesn't get fat, she's gonna not never be oversaturating anything.
So let me give y'all some. I follow these people socially and stuff like that way more than I should. I'm into pop culture and stuff like that. And Zendaya gets a lot of the love because she's one of the biggest stars in the world and she's deserved so. But Tom Holland has changed Zendaya so much for the better in so many different ways. Tom is a dude who acts because he loves it, but if he could be at home and never leave his house and just be a house husband or farm or some shit like that, he would happily do that. And Zendaya has loved so much of the lifestyle that Tom lives and the person Tom is and his family that she has changed so much about herself. Case in point, they live in London. They don't live in America. Zendaya moved over there because she enjoys him and his family and so much of that lifestyle more than what she was doing here. So Tom has said for a long time, when I'm done, I'm done. And so it makes sense that Zendaya is going to go out with a big bang and bing, bang, boom, we out of there.
Oh, we got a guest star on the show. Cool. Awesome.
Dave, why don't you jump in?
No, I think I just what the guy said. I mean, that I think it's either it could be a lot of it could be one of 3 things. Either she wants to step back to create that demand for her again because she is going to be overexposed quite a bit this year.
Can you hear that?
I can
heard
hear.
hello.
This is my oldest. This is Alyssa. And I guess my baby, that's baby Coco.
Does Alyssa know you hate dogs, Ray? I'm just
Remember
making sure she
me.
knows that you.
She can't hear you. Good. Be careful.
That's why she came to pick up the dog, Dave.
I know. That's
Just protect the dog from the
protect
danger.
the dog from Ray. That mean.
Coco is about to go hang out with Crypto.
Yeah, there you go. But I think
Not on my
like I said,
watch.
could be pregnancy. It could just be like Tuddy's saying. She just needs a break. I mean, when you're everywhere all at once, sooner or later you got to step back. So it could be any of those things. But I don't begrudge her or Tom whatever they're going to do at this point. That's all I got.
That's right.
Excellent. Yeah. So I guess from all of us here at the Bandwagon, I'm sorry, Dave. I was expecting more. I don't know. I was waiting
Well,
for
you
more
guys already
and
said
it didn't
everything.
come along. That's all I
guys already
need.
said everything. So
All right. Well, here, you know what? Just so that you get a chance to talk, since message received, Dave's not speaking enough on the program. Our next article that we're going to talk about, a little news around the Nerdosphere, arguably the best arm of Nerdosphere Animation, put out an announcement this week where they are announcing several titles, including new Batman animated shows, new Looney Tunes animated shows, and more. What? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Tony's showing off his Bugs Bunny, and a Ghost in the Shell revival, which that one, Ghost in the Shell is one of the most influential landmark anime films of the 90s. Don't know how I feel about that being touched unless it is being released by the creators. It is like a sequel and not a redo. Ghost in the Shell.
Ghost in the Shell.
Ghost in the Shell. Think an anime take on the Matrix.
Yeah,
yes.
Gotcha.
Was light year? It came out in like the late 90s, the original one, and was light years ahead of its time in terms of like cyber, the world of like like hacking cyber life. Like there was a really bad Scarlett Johansson live action film that was made that one was immediately panned because this Asian character was cast by Scarlett Johansson or was cast with Scarlett Johansson, but it was a very very popular anime at the time. But Dave, I'll let you go first. What stands out to you with this litany of upcoming features from Warner Brothers Animation? And why is it Batman?
That is easy. Exactly. It's Batman Nightfall. That stands out to me more than any of the other ones. It is one of the most impactful Batman stories of all time. It's not just about Bane breaking Bruce's back. I mean, and of course we saw aspects of that in The Dark Knight Rises, a very stripped down version of that. But what The Dark Knight Rises leaves out is all the shit that happens while Batman is down and out of it. Namely Azrael assuming the role of Batman and all the problems that creates with him, and when Bruce does recover, him having to reclaim the role of Batman from this character who he trusted to take up the mantle, who just kind of goes insane, and the fight, to get back at Bane.
It's basically Craven's Last Hunt, but with Batman instead of Spider-Man.
Sorta. A little bit.
Craven kills Spider-Man, buries him, and then puts on the mask and goes nuts, killing people indiscriminately.
There are elements of that, but I'm really curious as to how deep they get with that story, because you cannot tell Nightfall in one animated movie. You got to put that's got to be 2-3 parts. It may be like Crisis was split up into 3 parts. I could see them turning Nightfall into 3 parts, and that would be fine with me, because it is a story that needs quite a bit of time to be told properly. But I think that's the best part, is like people who just think that Nightfall is about Bane breaking Bruce's back. It's like, dog, that's just one aspect of 3. There's like 3 volumes of it.
Yeah. So real quick, I just wanted, so Ghost in the Shell was a story about a cyborg policewoman and her partner hunting a hacker known as the Puppet Master, who hacks into cyborgs. And a lot of the technology and the animation involved when depicting like the inside of like the internet, it was light years ahead of its time. So
that's going to be good as well. But as a DC animation nut that I am,
best part is that movie, Ghost of the Shell, takes place in 2029. It's like in the year 2029. Cyborgs are commonplace. Well, we got
might not be far off.
20. Let's get it to 2129, so that we're long dead when it comes out.
There you go.
Tunney, you're a big Looney Tunes fan. It's always good when there's more Looney Tunes to hit the world, right?
Whatever you need to do, whether it's new, just half hour with 3 or 4 skits, or a full hour show, or something completely new, maybe like a weird kind of series, like like what they did with Tiny Toons, you could do with the Looney Tunes, turn something there, or just giving us the movies that you already have and making some more. Like, I am always here for more Bugs, Roadrunner, Wile E. Coyote, and the rest of the cast of characters, Porky Pig, Daffy Duck, everything. It's just Tweety Bird. I love the Looney Tunes so much. We've talked about it, Patrick, as the library disappeared off of HBO Max. At one point I went and started from the beginning, which I think is like the 30s, and just moved forward into everything and watch the progression of it all. Is just excellent.
I meant to ask you, do you have Tubi?
I do not.
So Tubi is free. So it doesn't cost you anything. It does give you ads. They have the Looney Tunes, but done like those. Remember when we would watch Saturday morning cartoons, and they'd have the half-hour specials or the half-hour episodes of like a bunch of them put together? They're like put together like that. So it's like 13 seasons of Looney Tunes done Saturday morning cartoon style, if you feel the need.
Animaniacs is under that banner too, right? The Steven Spielberg, or did Spielberg?
Yes,
or Scorsese?
Spielberg did Animaniacs, and also available on Tubi is Animaniacs, Pinky and the Brain.
If you've never seen Animaniacs, it's basically like a Looney Tunes spoof on Hollywood. There's so many comparisons you can draw to Hollywood from that. It's one of the most well done things in animation.
One of the best openers to a cartoon too. Like, like one of those where I don't skip the beginning.
Well, Tiny
All
Toons
right.
to me is one of the best openings ever. Like I find myself singing that to myself, like
I
at
I
work and
own the
shit.
movie. I bought the Tiny Toons How I Spent My Summer Vacation movie on
They're
Amazon for
tiny, they're
$3 the other
toony,
day.
they're all little loony, and in this
Great
cartoony,
show.
they're invading your TV. I'll stop that.
Ray, what excites you about this upcoming list of Warner Brothers animation features that was released this week? Yeah, that's great. We can't hear you, but I'm sure it was impactful.
Look, I spit some hot fire. Y'all just don't know.
I bet you straight fire.
In 10
Oh,
seconds? You're the
speaking
man,
of
Ray.
fire,
You like
make
that.
sure you tune in June to Game Gone Wrong coming back with the third season of House of the Dragon.
The
Shameless
boy
plug.
is in
Thank
advertising
you, Tony.
mode. Look at him. He was an advertising fool over there. John Paul Valley is one of the most important and best Batman characters you've never heard of. The character of Azrael and his whole story and this Nightfall saga, besides the bat being broke again, which is big thing. But man, what your boy Azrael was doing in Gotham while Bruce was out was Craven is a good example. Azrael was doing some stuff to make Craven look like Craven's a superstar. Azrael was out there. It's got to be bad that they're more scared of him than they're scared of Bruce. And so, yeah, if I can see that, and Dave said it perfectly, but I think even if you read the article, they said they compared it to the Crisis saga.
Yeah.
Because you're right, it's got to be multiple movies. But the one DC, for all of its ills, they usually knock it out the park when it comes to animation. And Looney Tunes is cool. I'm cool with all the Looney Tunes and stuff. That's cool. Ghost in the Shell, I'll never watch it. But yeah, but that, give me more Batman. I'll take it every day. I'm finished.
Cool. So there you have it, folks. Batman never loses. It just never loses.
Prep time, baby.
As long as he's got prep time, yeah. That's right.
Did I miss something here? What happened?
No. We're just talking prep time.
All right, I'm very
Yeah,
confused.
no, you didn't miss anything, Pat. You're
Got
right
you.
there, buddy. You're right there, buddy.
All right. I'm just gonna move into my last story then because I don't understand what happened and I'm very confused and a little frightened. Somebody I don't know. I'm gonna cry now. So a while back, the President of the United States, man who loves his executive orders, put out an executive order cutting all the funding to NPR and PBS. Well, this week, a federal judge said you can't do that and ruled that the order that Trump gave to take away funding for NPR and PBS was unconstitutional and a violation of the First Amendment. Now, Dave, you're clapping and I'm glad you're happy. I am going to turn to you first as the lawyer because I want to know honestly what we think this means beyond a judge saying you can't do that. Because we already know that PBS had shuttered its doors, at least on some level, that their buildings are shut down. So I don't know, does this actually do anything to save PBS and NPR? Or does it just allow them to start getting funded again and come back?
I'll read this part of the decision. In a ruling Tuesday, U.S. District Judge Randolph Moss of the District Court for D.C. said Trump's executive order to cease funding for NPR and PBS is unlawful and unenforceable. The judge wrote that the First Amendment right to free speech, quote, does not tolerate viewpoint discrimination and retaliation of this type, end quote. And another quote, it's difficult to conceive of clearer evidence that a government action is targeted at viewpoints that the president does not like and seeks to squelch, end quote, Moss wrote. So great. Getting back to your question, is it a First Amendment violation? Pretty clearly, that court has said, yes, you cannot cut funding because somebody does not say what you want them to say. The bigger question now is, to your point, Patrick, what does this mean? unless somebody's going to jump in and say, I'm really glad that the court said that, but if I fund these guys, do I then run the risk of being retaliated against in similar fashion? And in the grand scheme of things, does it make much of a difference? Probably not. Because at this point, are you going to run the risk of being targeted as well? Even though the court has come out and said this is unlawful, it should not have happened. But again, how do you fix this retroactively? PBS and NPR are already, like you said, pretty much gone. So unless you got somebody who's got the balls to jump in there, privately fund these guys and said, hey, Mr. President, bring it. I'll be happy to fight you in court. And there's a handful of people who might be willing to do that. But really, what difference does it make other than that you're vindicated that what he did was wrong, so that maybe it doesn't happen again in the future? But at the same time, yeah, how do you fix what's already been done at this point? So I think the ruling is absolutely correct. I think it was clearly a violation of the First Amendment, but this ruling comes 6 to 12 months too late. That's the problem with it.
Ray or Sonny, any reactions to this? I know, Ray, you're working the whiteboard. Turn it around. Ha ha, and also ha. Coco says ha too. So who are those ha's directed at, Ray? That's the real question.
You gotta ask me that, dog.
No, I just wanted to make you talk.
Okay.
Really, if there's one thing that I'm good at as a villain, it's trolling others.
This is a skill you have indeed.
It is
Thank
a
you,
gift.
Mr. Lawyer, for breaking it down from the lawyerly way. But regular ass Ray is gonna break it down from the regular ass Ray way. Ha ha, you motherfucker.
Tony, can we fund PBS with Looney Tunes reruns?
If you play them somewhere that makes money, like Tubi's free, right? I mean, they ain't making no fucking money.
Well, Tubi has ads, so it's not. It's free to us, but it has ads. That's how they get their revenue.
Sounds like Tubi funded. I'm all for PBS. I'm all for whatever keeps PBS and NPR around. I think it's very important to a lot of people and also to this country.
I think PBS is very important to local television. I think that's one of the things that was most heartbreaking to me when PBS funding went away, is that local broadcast stations, for example, and you know, Tony, I don't know if you have this or had this on your local PBS. The Illinois Farm Report would be part of PBS programming early in the morning. Like, there'd be like a PBS local farm news that was directed towards Central Illinois, like in Champaign-Urbana, around where I grew up.
So my high school, our National Honor Society, we would go and help with the live auction every year.
Right. And that's the thing that I think that
so we had the same
right.
thing.
Right. And that was the thing that I think is truly lost when things like PBS and NPR go away. Like the national NPR network makes all the news, right? And that's the thing, that telling news that upsets the president. PBS the same way. Like, they have their national news broadcast. But it was also an accessible way for local people in the middle of nowhere, Illinois, to have their own programming, to have exposure to the arts, whether that be, like, I still have episodes of great performances that I only have because I had PBS, where I can see Hugh Jackman playing Curly in Oklahoma. And you don't get that if you don't have stuff like public broadcasting. And I remember those telethons that would keep, Dave Ungar's local sewing show right there alongside the episodes. Yeah, I know.
He's like Sheldon Cooper, Fun with Flags. It's
Fun with Flags. Fun with Flags is actually a great example of that. Like, you would see a show like Fun with Flags attached along with some of these major performances and concert stuff, and it would be sponsored by your local university or your local local businesses. So it's a big deal. I hope that this helps PBS and NPR because, like you guys have said, it's good for us, and it's good for people that may not have access to the money that it takes to have all these streaming services or cable. Like, believe it or not, there are still people out there that only have an antenna.
If they take away PBS, my mom can't watch Call My Wife no more. She'll be mad. So
Right.
don't take away PBS
Don't
because I don't want to have to hear about that shit no more.
Fair enough. So do it for Ray and his own sanity.
Please.
All right, guys, we're heading into our final segment of the night. This is the part of the episode where we tell everybody what we've been up to, and that is, of course, what you're watching this week. You know what, Ray Cash? I've been starting you with a lot of stuff. Ray, what you watching other than website coding?
Well, that's been pretty much it. So nothing new. Shout out to the Pits finals episode. I haven't watched yet. I'm gonna watch it when we get off of here. So I'm gonna tell you the two things that I'm going to watch. Shout out to Crime 101, a new movie on Amazon Prime with Chris Hemsworth, aka Thor,
Yep.
Mark Ruffalo, aka Hulk, and Barry Keoghan, aka Joker, aka Druid from the Eternals. Looks like a great movie. And for those of you, we here on this show love us a good documentary, particularly a good sports documentary. Best documentary series in the business is Netflix's Untold. Untold, the life and death of Lamar Odom.
No, the
Wow.
death and life of Lamar Odom.
Well, semantics. He died and he came back. So again, the Jesus allegories don't stop.
That's why it's important to get him in the right order.
Well, yeah, he is still alive. So good point. Fair enough.
Right, because if you do it the other way, it means he's dead.
Life, death, and life again.
Mr. Sonny, what are you watching, man? Let's.
I watching a million episodes of what we're covering on this show every Sunday morning. It's a good thing I get up early. No, I'm enjoying every second of it. I'm the one that advocated for us to cover multiple shows, and other than that, the usual suspects. Next Level Chef is
That's a good movie.
Oh yeah, it is. It's a very good movie.
I'm telling you, it's Kaiser Soze. Sorry, Tony.
What?
Other than that, like the only series that I watched this week, besides the cooking stuff and my usual things, is another episode of Born to Bowl, Patrick.
Yeah, excellent. I also keeping up with Born to Bowl. I've had many conversations with my bowling friends trying to get them to understand that this is going to be about the bowlers, not about the science and sport of bowling itself. They do not get it.
Yeah,
they just don't get it. It's so.
I just want to mention this real quick while we're on the subject. I work with DP's brother. We have lunch together like every freaking day. We're lucky enough to work somewhere that provides lunch in a cafeteria for the people that work there. And we always talk about what we're watching. And he's also hooked on Born to Bowl, and he's bold, but he's not a bowler. And he's just like, it's fucking awesome. He goes, and he's the opposite of what you've heard. He goes, I love the fact that I'm getting to know these people that are out there on the tour and what they have to go through. So that's someone who's not really a non-bowler that completely is enjoying the series.
Right. And that's what, and I'm trying to explain this to folks, that the reason I think that's effective and good is because if that at least leads folks to check out the PBA tour or watch a round or a match because they're interested in Kyle Troop or Jason Belmonte or EJ Tackett, which, by the way, yesterday was the USA versus the World showdown that they do every year.
I tuned in for a little bit of that. I saw some Tackett and Belmo.
The opening match was a singles match between two of the greatest bowlers in modern bowling, EJ Tackett and Jason Belmonte. They went head to head, and Belmonte beat him by 10 sticks, by one strike. It was one strike that made the difference, and it was compelling bowling. And then the World just kicked the shit out of the United States the rest of the way, and it was not an exciting rest of the day.
It was hilarious because this was in Ohio, I think. So
yeah,
very
it's
American
in Columbus.
Crowd. Yeah, so Tackett comes out in the first frame and strike, and then Belmo comes out, strike, and like it's quiet until he smiles, looks at the crowd, and then like, oh hey, yeah, and the announcer's like, yeah, very pro-American crowd here today.
Yeah, very much so. But it was a fun show, and then it's back. This is a big weekend for the PBA. It's a back-to-back tournament day. So they did the USA versus the World today. Same bowling alley, same house is the Ohio Classic in Columbus. And once again, EJ Tackett made television because he's the best bowler in the world right now. And no matter the pattern, that dude's going to be on your TV. He's going to get one this season. Just a matter of when. Dave, what you watching, bud?
The biggest thing this past week is I finished season 2 of Fallout, which was excellent. Very good show. They've really done a great job as far as really expanding that game world into different places. I mean, they keep just enough of the game in there for the hardcore gamers to say, oh yeah, I remember that and I remember that. But it is a very unique and original story that they're doing, and thrilled that they're going to have a 3rd season of that. So I was really very pleased with season 2. Excellent season. And looking forward to more Fallout. So it's been, I didn't think that it would be able to match The Last of Us as far as like, the way that the series has gone. But I got to say, season 2 of Fallout was just as good as season 2 of The Last of Us. So there you go.
I've continued to watch my Bill Lawrence trilogy of middle-aged white dudes struggling with trauma. That's basically what these three shows are at this point. Scrubs, Shrinking, and Rooster. They're in different levels of like crisis, like midlife crises, which is fine. It's kind of funny that there's 3 of them going all at once. Shrinking, by the way, far and away the best of those 3 shows in my opinion. Jason Segel, probably some of the best acting I've seen him do this season alongside Harrison Ford. And what was really interesting, Bill Lawrence has been talking about this show in particular and how, much like Ted Lasso, the goal was for it to be 3 seasons. It has now been picked up for a 4th, and they're going to do a time jump and start a new chapter and a new story because the whole series is really about grief and processing grief. And so season 1 is about Jason Segel's character processing grief. Season 2 is about recovering, and season 3 is supposed to be about moving on and sort of moving forward. And then this 4th chapter came up, and they decided we're going to finish telling this original story and move on to another one. And I think that just is a testament to how great this show has been. So Harrison Ford, also amazing. I know I've talked about that a lot. And it is Easter and Passover season. And as I do every year for Easter and Passover season, I must watch Charlton at his most Heston and watch the 10 Commandments, Cecil B. DeMille's epic biblical tale of Moses. It's a phenomenal film. Yul Brynner as Ramesses steals the movie, in my
I've
opinion.
seen it multiple times. It's a great movie.
We got it on my Blu-ray. It airs every year on NBC. It might be on tonight, actually, for all I know.
7
Sunday,
o'clock, because it turns on. Yeah.
Usually is when it airs. It'll be on there. I'll watch it uninterrupted by commercials on my own time. So, all right, folks. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Before we get out of here, though, fellas, tell everybody how they can find you out there in the nerdosphere, be that via the socials or here on this channel. This week, we will start with the lawyer, David Ungar.
Yes, you could check me out on attitudeofaggression.com and also go to the Attitude of Aggression's YouTube channel for all sorts of things going on there. And, of course, check out the Chair Shots YouTube channel, which I will defer to Tunny and Ray for more information on that.
Okay, well, PC Tunny, tell them what you want to tell them.
Follow me at PC Tony. You can find me working almost as hard as Ray Cash. No, yeah, everything Chair Shot's happening right now. There's big transitions. There's a lot of work going on by everybody. Everybody you see on this screen and a whole lot of other people there. So when we do this show next week live, we will highly be encouraging you to visit the site on April 13th is when we're going to try and put everything out there. So we're just trying to make a better experience for everybody involved on every single level we do, right? Like sports, the entertainment, the sports entertainment, the attitude of aggression is a big part of what we do as well. And we just have this great group of people. We think it's just not right for us not to try and get this out to many more people. Thank you to everybody that's watching today on the originals first stream of Bandwagon Nerds. Our hope is that every show is going to be up live when we do it on YouTube and hopefully on the website too. We're just trying to get out there and do great things for you. And the main person behind all that doing the lion's share to be just modest about it is Ray Cash.
AKA
Well-
melanated dude, according to his job title there.
Webmaster Ray, melanated dude. I love that you're pointing, and from my vantage point, it looks like you're pointing off screen and not at melanated
Well,
dude.
yes, sir.
You might want to use the other hand and point the other direction, and you'll nail it. But tell everybody where they. There you go. Now tell everybody where they can find you out there in the nerdosphere.
It massively bothers me that I have to tell y'all because I pay for this shit. So you have to follow
don't
me at
have
X-Ray
to.
Cash, or I paid for it. You gonna get this follow.
The
Okay.
irony is so rich and deep
I
in
love
this
it.
whole thing.
It
It's
truly
great.
is.
It's beautiful.
Truly is. It's Ray Cash, RAY as in Mysterio, CASH as in dollars. Most importantly, follow the show at Bandwagon Nerds. Follow the clique. Follow the family. Follow the company at Chairshot Media. That is not just the Twitter handle. Go follow the Chairshot Media on Instagram. Come follow the Chairshot on Facebook, and go and at Chairshot Media on YouTube, where this will be. It's live now. We'll be there, and starting tomorrow, got some nice little social shit for y'all. So check your socials and holler at your boys.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And you can follow me on the socials at Wrestling Realist. That is at WRESTLNGREALIST. You can catch me every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday as a part of Chair Shot Media. Mondays, talking nerdy stuff with these guys. Tuesdays, talking sports with David Ungar on the Four Corners podcast. And Wednesdays, talking wrestling with Greg DeMarco when we feel like it. Thank you, everyone, for listening. That's going to do it for this week's edition of Bandwagon Nerds. Now get yourself out of the basement, get some sun, catch up on some Daredevil, brace yourself for the boys. There's so much entertainment out there. Watch some Looney Tunes, soak it all in, and then come back next week. You have been listening to Bandwagon Nerds here on the Chairshot Radio Network, part of the Chairshot.com.